entered Land Between the Lakes National Recreation Area. It's one of my favorite places in the world to go. My dad and I, we hunt down here every year, turkey and deer, and do a lot of fishing in Kentucky and Barkley Lake. But that's not why I'm down here today. One thing that I've not done a lot of in Land Between the Lakes is hike. And of course there's the north-south trail that runs the entire length of Land Between the Lakes. There's also a lot of side trails, but today I'm going to go as far south in Land Between the Lakes as I've ever been. And it's a place called the Fort Henry Trail System. Now, Fort Henry, from what I've read, like I said, I've never been down here, Fort Henry is actually underwater. When they flooded the lakes, it flooded the fort, and so now it's underwater. But a lot of the trails around the Fort Henry area were used by Ulysses S. Grant, moving troops back and forth. There's a trail called the Telegraph Trail where they used, it was a telegraph communication area between Fort Henry and Fort Donelson. So there's a lot of history in the area that I'm going to hike today. But my main reason for coming down here is to hike what's called the Devil's Backbone Trail. It's a short trail. I'm going to make a loop today of about 7 miles, but this one particular trail called the Devil's Backbone Trail is supposed to be one of the best trails in Land Between the Lakes. It's kind of a knife edge trail, runs along a really skinny ridge that's just got a lot of neat things on it, supposedly from what I've read. I'm going to check it out today. Number two reason that I want to do this is something that I've never done before, is I've never driven the road that's called the quote-unquote trace that runs the whole length of Land Between the Lakes. I've never driven the whole length of it, and I'll get to do that today. I'm pretty excited about that. I've always wanted to do it, just because where the trace starts in Grand Rivers and goes to the Tennessee line, it's about as far as I've been, but it's a beautiful drive. I really enjoy it. I enjoy being on this road, seeing all the scenery, all the wildlife. Brings back a lot of memories because I've been coming down here for a lot of years. My dad brought me down here a lot when I was a kid, fishing and hunting and things like that. We continue that tradition today, but I've never driven the whole length of it, so I'm really excited about doing that and hiking the trails in Fort Henry. If I remember correctly, I'm going to hike. Oh, there's some deer crossing the road. Kind of wish the camera was facing the other way. One ran right out in front of me. Anyway, the trails that I plan on hiking today, part of the Volunteer Trail, part of the Telegraph Trail, part of the Artillery Trail, and then the Devil's Backbone Trail, and that will make a loop trail for me in the Fort Henry trail system. There's a lot of other trails there. If I like these trails as well as I think I will, I'll probably end up coming back and checking out some of the other trails. Yeah, it should be a good day. It's 41 degrees outside right now. It's supposed to get up to almost 60 or maybe a little over 60 by midday. So it should be a great day to hike. It's sunny. There is quite a bit of a breeze outside, but that's pretty common for Land Between the Lakes area because you got those two big lakes on either side of you. So I've probably got another 30 to 45 minutes drive through down the trace through Kentucky and into Tennessee, and I believe it ends in Dover, Tennessee is where Land Between the Lakes stops. So I'll be almost to Dover, Tennessee when at the Fort Henry Trail System. So I'll see you on the trail. Okay, this has been an adventure so far, to say the least. Drove all the way down the trace like I wanted to. Beautiful drive. I got to the South Welcome Station, and the road that takes you back to the Fort Henry Trail System, the Piney campground, that kind of stuff, closed. No signs telling you why or anything, just said access closed. So luckily I had a map, road map of Land Between the Lakes with me, and I looked at it, found an alternate route which took me probably 10 to 15 miles out of the way, and ended up coming all the way around down by the lake and up on the backside of where the Fort Henry Trail System is. Now, I am at number 6, which I think is the Shortleaf Pine Trail. Yeah. I don't know how well you can see that, but I need to continue on to number 5, which will be the Devil's Backbone Trail, which is the trail I want to hike. So that's what I'm doing right now, making my way, following these red blazes, making my way to the Devil's Backbone Trail. So I'm on the right track now. It took a little while to get here, and I was very concerned that I drove 2.5 hours to come down here and was not going to be able to hike what I intended to hike. But I'm here now. Just a little change of plans from where I was originally going to park, but that's okay. I'm on the trail now. I can still make a loop, and really warmed up out here, so it looks like it's going to be a great day. I'll see you on the Devil's Backbone Trail. Okay, so I've made it to the infamous Devil's Backbone Trail, noted by the number 5 mile marker and the blue blaze that we'll see up here on this tree. Right there's your blue blaze that indicates you're on the Devil's Backbone Trail now. I read in a book, and I'll try to put the name of the book down here at the bottom of the video, that the Devil's Backbone Trail is one of the favorites and one of the best trails down here, especially in the Fort Henry Trail System, because evidently this trail narrows down on a ridge to a point where the ridge is no wider than the trail. That's kind of why they call it the Devil's Backbone. So right now we're coming through, looks like some poplars and pines, and I will pick back up when I find that section where it really narrows down where the trail got its name. It also mentioned to look for Mountain Laurel. I think I know what Mountain Laurel looks like, but they said it's got washed down through the Tennessee Valley and ended up here. It's not really common around here, so I'll see if I can find some of that on the way. Right now we're in some bottoms, kind of skirting the edge of a stream, and it looks like we're getting ready to start climbing. So I'll pick back up when I find something interesting. I'm wondering if this is the portion that they're talking about being the actual Devil's Backbone. This is a really odd ridge in the middle of this valley. It's very sharp, steep. I mean, it's not that tall, but it's going up in elevation. It's definitely narrow. That's really neat. And it's just like a backbone. It's a geological formation I've never seen before. I've never seen a skinny, narrow ridge like this. At least where, you know, where I'm from in western Kentucky. This is very interesting. I think we're going up and it's getting steeper on both sides. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that along this steep ravine here that I have found the Mountain Laurel that they mentioned in that book that I've been reading about the area. There's several plants here, there, all along this one stretch that's going up the side of this ridge here. Of course, the Mountain Laurel is not flowering right now, so there's none of the pretty white and pink flowers that are normally on these plants, but they stick out because they stay green all year long. So I was hoping to be able to find some of those along the way, as they mentioned them in that book. There's some more right there. Should be really pretty section of the Devil's Backbone Trail when those start to flower out. Okay, I'm almost done with the Devil's Backbone Trail, and I ran into another one of these trees like I found on my last hike in the Hoosier National Forest. Now, whether this was done like this naturally or it was done by Native Americans, I don't know. I do know that Native Americans bent trees like this as markers to places of interest, like a waypoint on a map. Now, I don't know if this tree was done like that by Native Americans, like I said, or if it was done like this naturally, because I have read that it can occur naturally. I don't know, it makes an awful good seat, and it really sticks out. Okay, we have just completed Devil's Backbone Trail. Come out here to this mile marker 19. We're going to continue on this way to the 2.2 mile volunteer trail. Okay, I am now at marker 20. At this point, you can continue on straight, and that will lead you. You'll do a 1 mile trip down the Piney Trail to marker 21. I'll take the volunteer trail there, or you can go right and take the artillery trail, which is a 1.4 mile trail that kind of parallels the Devil's Backbone Trail. But we're going to continue this way, 1 mile to the Piney Trail, or 1 mile down the Piney Trail to the volunteer trail, which is supposed to be 2.2 miles. Makes the loop a little bit longer. You probably cut out 2 or 3 miles if you go down the artillery trail, so we're going to head down this 1 mile section of the Piney Trail to the volunteer trail. Okay, so this little creek here runs back to Infantry Pass Spring. That's down here on the Piney Trail. And we've now made it to marker 21, which the Piney Trail continues on that way. But we're going to take a right here and go on the 2.2 mile volunteer trail. And it's marked by yellow trail places. Okay, so I made it to marker number 2, and that is the end of the volunteer trail. Well, for me anyway. The volunteer trail goes up across this road, which is road 230, and continues on back towards Boswell Landing and Picket Loop Trail, a couple other trails over that way, but we won't be going that way. We're going to be taking a right and starting down the Telegraph Trail, which is the trail that we started on this morning. It's about another, I don't know, mile and a half, mile and 3/4 back to the truck this way. I don't know if the GoPro's going to pick it up, but that's a red blaze there on that tree. Like I said, you come here to the junction at road 230 where this creek is, and they've got some steps going up so you can cross the road. As far as the volunteer trail, it was kind of uneventful. It was a lot of open oak hardwoods, a couple of really steep big hills to climb. I took my lunch down in a cedar pine thicket down in some bottoms. So it was really nice. It was really thick, but there was a lot of logs to sit on and take your lunch. So it was a nice place to sit down, take a rest, and get a bite to eat. But it was pretty uneventful. At the highest point of the trail, I saw a skink, which is a type of lizard, and you know that's not unusual for around here, but being that it's the 4th of March, it's pretty early. But I would say it's probably pushing 60 degrees right now, so it's a nice day, and there's a lot of animals out and about. I've seen a lot of insects, saw the lizard, lots and lots of birds, and a few deer. I wasn't quick enough to get the lizard on camera though. He scampered off into the leaf litter pretty quick. But we will continue down this way. Like I said, it's about mile and 3/4 or so back to the truck. I'll cut back in if I find anything else interesting. And we made it back to the start of the Devil's Backbone Trail. Goes that way. We get to cross this little bridge here. Go another, I don't know, half a mile, 3/4 of a mile back to the truck. It's a nice little bridge. You can see some fish swimming around down there. Across this field and up another long ridge back to road 400, which is where we started. Well, I finished the hike of the Devil's Backbone Trail and the Artillery Trail, Telegraph Trail, and Volunteer Trail. I've got my map here I'm looking at. I'm at a place that's still in Tennessee, but just barely, called Cedar Pond, a little picnic area. It's one of my favorite places to stop, even though it's down in Tennessee and I live in Kentucky, but I always try to make the trip down here. As far as the hike goes, The Devil's Backbone Trail, I loved it. It was great, great views, lots of scenery. The Volunteer Trail, it was okay. A lot of hardwoods, a lot of big ridges. It was a nice trail, but I think the next time I come down here, and I probably will come back, I think I'll do the Devil's Backbone again, and then jump over to the Artillery Trail and do that. That's one of Ulysses S. Grant's famous trails that he took. So I'd like to do that trail. But the Telegraph Trail was really neat because it was a lot of bottomland. You walked along a lot of creeks. You crossed creeks several times. Just a lot of scenery, a lot of wildlife. Saw some fish in the creek, and I probably could have found some lizards and salamanders if I would have flipped some rocks over. But all in all, it was a great hike, and I would like to come back maybe in the fall. But it was a great hike, and I would highly recommend it. It's a great day hike. There's a lot of loop trails in there that you can do, and it just makes for a good time. So until the next hike, I will see you guys later.